Welcome back. You're watching Bloomberg. I'm Angie Lau in Hong Kong.
And I'm Yusuf Ganaduddin in Algiers. Let's return to the Bloomberg Markets most influential summit in Hong Kong. Sherry Ann is standing with one of the greatest investors in Asia who remains a contrarian to the core when it comes to China. Tell us more.
Yusuf, yes, we're talking about a man that's being called the gold finger just because of his investment skills. We're talking about Value Partners Group Chairman and Co-CIO, Chia Cheng-hai. Cheng-hai, thank you so much for talking to us today. You are very optimistic about the China market. Despite all of these skepticism about where the market is headed. Is that because there's just not a thorough understanding of how Chinese markets operate?
Well, I just got that I've been working in this market since the 1980s. So I'm pretty used to the fact that it's a very rough sea out there, but one with a lot of fish inside. Right now, where are we? We have finished the... I agree with the general assumption that China's economic progress going forward can be described in the shape of an L-shaped situation. But the point is, the vertical part of the L is largely completed for now. We are now on the horizontal part of the L, the stable part, with stable growth. The next foreseeable future, we're going to see growth 6 to 6.5% a year. That's pretty good in a world that's so starved for growth.
Does it matter that you had a very, very tough first half when it comes to Value Partners? Because your profits were wiped out. How do you stay a winner in this kind of situation?
Yeah, well, we have to distinguish between Value Partners as a fund management company, which had to issue a profit warning late last year and was barely above break-even in the first half of this year. That's the fund management company. And the funds themselves, 14 billion US. We are now doing okay, but we also have a very slow first half. The magic here is our business model. A lot of it is driven by performance fees. We failed to make a performance fee in the first half. And expenses being what they are in Hong Kong and in Singapore, of course, we can hardly make a profit. But since the summer, we are seeing a significant pickup. I can't go into big detail. Rest assured that performance levels are being achieved, which should result in some performance fees. So hopefully the second half is going to look quite different.
Okay. Is your expansion in other parts of Asia helping into that pickup?
Yes, indeed. We no longer see ourselves as primarily a China fund, which was a label that used to be applied to us in the 1990s. We are now a company that's got offices in Singapore and elsewhere in Asia, and about to open one in London as well. And also, just so you know, there's some very significant changes in our business model too. In the 1990s, we were very targeted on raising money from the Western world, from Japan, and investing the money in China. But now, a growing part of our fund inflow actually comes from China to go out to the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's a very interesting change in dynamics, isn't it? When it comes to that, what are Chinese mainland investors looking at? Are they interested in high-yielding assets? Are they interested in just making an income?
Yes, it's a fascinating topic. Now, so China has transformed itself from being an importer of capital to being a huge exporter of capital. And many of the Chinese people we're dealing with are just like people anywhere else. They just want to diversify their wealth, diversify their portfolio. But having said that, I notice it's more of a fashion-driven market. Because the Chinese is still reasonably new to the game, right? They're less long-term, less loyal to specific investment
less sophisticated investors. So where are they looking at? What are they looking at?
They like equities, of course, especially names they're familiar with that were not listed in China but now listed elsewhere.
Big caps.
In New York, in Hong Kong, for example. They like real estate. They like fixed income. It's a big country. There's a diversity, but the general situation is they are fashion conscious. They like to diversify, and they are not afraid to try new ideas. And they are also quite brand conscious, I find.
And yes, not surprising, not just in the investment sphere, but everywhere else as well.
Yes.
Cheng Hai, thank you so much for your time today. That was Cheng Hai. He's a Value Partners Group Chairman and co-CIO, talking to us about the appetite for foreign assets by Chinese investors and so much more going on across global markets. Angie.
Sherry Ann, thank you so much for that. All right, coming up, a look back at the life and legacy of Israeli leader Shimon Peres, who has died at the age of 93. This is Bloomberg.